All right, so the question is your nutrition good? Is my nutrition good? Is your nutrition good? I get this question all the time. People bring kind of what they had for dinner last night or their go-to breakfast and want to know, is this good or isn't it good? So in this video, in this training, I want to kind of shed some light on that. Hopefully, give you an idea if what you're eating for your meals is okay or not. And we're going to talk about some different categories within that. So to start off, the whole question of is this good or is this not good, it basically kind of assumes that nutrition has a pass or fail to it, right? And nutrition really isn't a pass fail. It's more like a slider scale. So just to start off, let's have that paradigm shift. Instead of thinking like good or bad, I got my gold star for the day, I didn't. Let's start thinking of things on a slider scale. So if we took our meals or our food and we put it on a scale where 10 is being of the highest quality, the best, which is going to get us the most optimal health, and 1 is basically just setting us up for immediate disease, we can allow ourselves to kind of place ourselves on a slider scale. So the way this would work versus like a pass or fail is basically just kind of where you're at versus the absolute ideal, right? And let's say if you are a 5, and you bring a, show me what you had for dinner last night, and it is a 3, that's a 5, and it's a 3, well, that's kind of subpar versus what you would normally do based off of your habits, right? So I guess that would be a fail, you can call it that. Versus if it's something that's, say like a 7, that's fantastic, right? That's a great step towards the right direction. Now, same meal, but somebody else who may be like a 9 or 10, that same meal again is going to be kind of a step towards the wrong direction, right? That better be a cheat meal or something like that. So if you're looking at food as like a pass or fail, really just kind of depends on where you are on that slider scale and what your goals are, what your function is, and kind of what your health is. So a lot of different factors there, right? But the rest of this, let's go over kind of what level 10 nutrition would be, right? That would be pretty good to know. So first off, anything that's going to be level 10 nutrition is going to be of the highest quality. And there's a couple different ways that we can actually categorize quality. So if we're looking at like different food options within the same like food category. So let's look at, we're going to look at meat options, right? We know that fish is healthier for us than pork, right, as an example. So kind of having an understanding of, what fat sources are better than others. So like olive oil would be better than canola oil, right? And kind of knowing and sticking with those options that are of better quality would be of a 10, right? Assuming that we're looking at the absolute best quality. So, if you are a level 3 person and you're doing, like Crisco oil or lard or something for your fat, moving into something that's like a vegetable oil would be better. Moving into olive oil would be even better, kind of depending on what you're using it for though, right? So even within a particular, like food item, we could rank quality on a scale as well. So if we're looking at beef for an example, I'm going to assume that hot dogs are made from beef, but we would probably put a hot dog like way down here at 2, right? I mean, meat doesn't get any more processed than that. I don't even know if it's beef or not. But so we may have, a hot dog on one side of the scale. And as we're moving up the scale, we can work through, like prepackaged deli meats to like whole protein sources, or like a steak from the grocery store. But even if you're eating a steak from the grocery store, just understand, where that came from. Most likely that meat is a bulk, cattle operation. It came from a bulk cattle operation, and it's been fed things that it wasn't supposed to eat. It's been pumped full of antibiotics and steroids, and it has a bunch of toxins in it, right? So when we actually get to a 10, we're getting to, whether it's a meat source or fruits, vegetables, anything, we're getting to things that are basically raised or grown more naturally, been minimally processed, and they're going to be free from chemicals, right? So most of the food that you're going to find in the grocery store actually has herbicides, pesticides, fungicides in it. That's going to be true for vegetables and fruit and also meat, right? So if we look at beef for an example, most cows are fed grain, right? It's not supposed to eat grain. It makes them sick. Specifically, that grain is usually like GMO corn, which is littered with herbicides, pesticides, and fungicides. All those toxins are going into the cow. The cow's becoming unhealthy, and we can just continue going down the rabbit hole with this. But so as we start to get to more products that are organic, whether it's certified or not, it's going to be more free from those toxins, which is key as far as quality. Another thing that we can look at is nutrients, right? So somebody who is a level 10 are making sure that they're getting all the essential nutrients that you need. And we have vitamins, minerals. There's a lot of other trace elements that we need that are essential to our health. We have our essential amino acids, essential fatty acids, making sure we're getting good pre-probiotics in for gut health. There's a lot of different nutrients that we need to keep ourselves from getting sick and to achieve optimal health. And just kind of the sad state of our the world we live in now, it is very, 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 very hard to actually get all the essential vitamins, minerals, and the other trace elements that you need. And so getting a level 10 nutrition is going to have a bit of supplementation involved with it. There's an article out that I have that I found that they basically did a study off of 4 or 5 whole food diets basically, and found that it takes anywhere from 4,000 to 26,000 calories a day in order to get the FDA recommended amount of vitamins and minerals. And we know that amount that they recommend is just the minimum amount to not get diseases. So like when you look at a food label and it has a daily recommended amount of vitamin C, that's just the amount to not get scurvy. But that's not the amount to actually have optimal health, right? We want more nutrients than that. So you need to be doing some sort of supplementation. Looking at your proteins, carbs, and fats, somebody at a level 10 is going to, again, making sure that they're getting all the amount of those nutrients that they need for their function, right? So you're making sure you're getting all your essential amino acids, fatty acids, or you're getting a good amount of fat and protein and carbohydrate depending on your function. I know most of the people that I've worked with in the past are kind of hitting the mark on the protein and fat specifically, and usually kind of overeating on the carbs. But I want to make sure that we're getting the amount that we need without going into excess, right? That's important too. So a couple other things we could throw out there, an awareness of gut health, right? Your gut health is very important for nutrient absorption. Your immune system, 80% of your immune system originates in your gut, and there's a lot of food sources out there that can be damaging to the gut. So having an awareness of that, and specifically around like lectins, and knowing which lectins or which foods have a high lectin amount, staying away from those, or knowing how to properly prepare those so it causes minimal damage to your gut. That's going to be something that's going to be level 10 as well. Something else we can look at would be food sensitivity. So I know more and more people now are being aware of different food sensitivities that they have. And if you have that awareness, or if you've gone out and taken a food sensitivity test and you actually have that hard data saying what foods you are more sensitive to, you want to stay away from those, right? So looking at your dinner plate, and if we're looking at level 10, we're looking at basically being toxin free, being of a good sources of proteins, carbs, and fats, having good amount of micronutrients in it, adding a little bit of supplementation on top of that, making sure that food is not doing any damage to your gut. It's going to be beneficial to your immune system, and you're staying away from things that are kind of give your body inflammation issues and stuff like that. Also, kind of not necessarily with what you're eating specifically, but just nutrition as a whole, adding things that's going to help you mitigate and manage stress a little bit better, and having strategies around detoxification are very, very important. So when we look at most of the diets out there, one of the reasons why most diets fail is because they're only hitting one or two of the categories that I've talked about, right? And usually, specifically, if we look at weight loss, for an example, and kind of the number one go-to way of weight loss in most of the diets out there is to cut back on your calories. What happens when you cut back on your calories? You're cutting back on the amount of essential nutrients that you need as well. So you're cutting back on the calories, you may be losing weight or not, but you're starving your body of all the essential nutrients that it needs. And actually most people will actually have a hard time losing weight because your body's trying to hold on to every bit of nutrients that it can. But kind of going back, most diets only hit one or two of those things, which is the reason why most of them fail. So you may be doing really good in one area. Maybe you're eating, all organically, but you're eating a bunch of foods that's destroying your gut, and you're eating a bunch of foods that may not be actually getting you all the nutrients that you need at the same time, right? So a lot of different things to be aware on that slider scale. If you want to know kind of a little bit more of kind of where you would fit on that scale, assuming that you're trying to work your way to a 10, I'd be more than happy to help you with that. But other than that, I know I didn't provide any steps. I know everybody wants to know like steps, like what do you eat? Do I eat this or that? Again, it's going to depend on the person and your function. But if you want some steps to help you get to level 10 in overall health, not specifically like nutrition or food selection, I have a video out. It's www.myfreecoachingvideo.com. Go and watch that. It's a really short video. It's only like 12 minutes. It has a whole bunch of different lifestyle practices around food, other things to help with stress and different things that will help you in your health, bump you up closer to that 10 so you can live a healthier life. That's all I got for you guys. Think of nutrition on a slider scale. Start to bump yourself up. Reach out to me if you have any questions or you want some coaching, so we can actually take a look and see what we can do to get you to accelerate your health and your wellness goals faster. Have a great day, guys. See you later.